Welcome to Mystic Realms Recap. Please like, share, and subscribe. Enjoy today's episode.
A beautiful and pure-looking young lady in a platinum-colored robe was floating in the air, calmly looking down at the imperial capital of the Blazing Sun Kingdom. Occasionally, her eyes would flash with amazement. Right at that moment, a voice sounded in his ear. "Your Excellency Hello, how is this Emperor's empire in your eyes?" It was Zhou Zhou. At that moment, he was standing in the distance with a faint smile on his face as he looked at the peerless goddess. Goddess of light, Hello. As expected of the most beautiful god spirit, he was indescribably beautiful. Even with Zhou Zhou's willpower, he could not help but take a few more glances. As expected of the empire of the #1 lord of all races. Even my divine kingdom of light is not as majestic and magnificent as Regal's empire, Hello said indifferently. However, this indifferent tone coupled with his beautiful face made Zhou Zhou have the urge to continue chatting. Good God. This natural beauty was probably at the top master god tier level in terms of the laws of beauty, right? Zhou Zhou clicked his tongue. Among the myriad of laws, beauty also occupied a seat. Moreover, it was a seat at the front. It could not be underestimated. He suppressed the stirring in his heart and smiled faintly. "You flatter me, Your Excellency. No matter how powerful this Emperor's empire is, it's just an empire." Master God Tier Hello looked at Zhou Zhou and said, "His Majesty's empire is about to be upgraded to a divine kingdom, right? You can advance to the divine kingdom tomorrow." Zhou Zhou nodded. "There's nothing to hide. Once His Majesty's divine kingdom is formed, I'm afraid the myriad races will no longer be able to restrict His Majesty's development. Therefore, tomorrow's divine kingdom founding war will probably be extremely difficult. Your Majesty, you should be prepared," Hello said calmly. A divine light flashed across Zhou Zhou's eyes. "Well, it's a kingdom founding war after all." He didn't say much and only nodded. "This emperor will make preparations. Then I wish Your Majesty success in establishing the divine kingdom. When the time comes, my 4 colleagues and I will have to call you Your Majesty from the bottom of our hearts," Hello said. "This emperor is looking forward to that day." Hello nodded. Then, his body turned into light spots and dissipated. Zhou Zhou looked at the spot where the other party disappeared for a long time before saying in a low voice, "The kingdom founding war. If I can't even pass this kingdom founding war, then no one among the Lord of all races can complete this kingdom founding war anymore." He had absolute confidence in himself. Therefore, he didn't panic because of Hello's words. Then, he returned to the divine kingdom world and entered the time world of the reincarnation sacred palace. He began to use the impartation scroll to comprehend the Lord's laws. The next day, in the reincarnation sacred palace, Zhou Zhou opened his eyes. He glanced at his divine body and felt the boundless chaotic sacred power surging in his body. A smile appeared on his face. He had reached the true God tier intermediate grade. He spent a night and used 4 impartation scrolls to successfully advance his God spirit realm from the true God tier elementary grade to the true God tier intermediate grade. He glanced at his divine body and felt the boundless chaotic sacred power surging in his body. A smile appeared on his face. Zhou Zhou stretched and clicked on the 3 Lord Law skills he currently had. The Myriad Method Star Palm didn't change much, but its power was further strengthened. It could better unleash the strength he had borrowed from his subjects. All the land in the world belongs to the king was strengthened on 2 points. First point, all the land in the world belongs to the king was a domain type Lord Law skill. After advancing to the true God tier intermediate grade, its nomological suppression ability became stronger. Second point, the ability of all the land in the world belongs to the king to forcibly deprive other territories of the ability to change them into his own territory. The number of times he could use it every day had changed from 1 to 3. As for the final law technique, the king, it had once again obtained an extremely obvious improvement. Law skill name, King. Law skill quality, true God tier intermediate grade. Introduction. As a true God spirit on the Lord's law path, you can mark 50% of the territorial subjects and control everything they have, including appearance, bloodline, skills, weapons, law skills, and even illusory fate. When you control everything the marked subject has, the subject doesn't have to suffer any negative effects. 70% of the territory's subjects. Zhou Zhou smiled. The number of soldiers and subjects under his command, including the skeleton tribe, had already exceeded 10,000 capital units, which was the number of Guy units. Zhou Zhou did not dare to imagine what a terrifying energy it was to have 70% of these subjects on him. When he became true God-tier advanced grade, the number of subjects marked by the Law Skill King should reach 100%. When the time came, all the subjects would become the source of his power. Too bad. After I used the king, my strength has already reached the Master God-tier advanced grade. Unless you give me 100 times more subjects and let the number of subjects under my command reach a qualitative change, or my basic strength reaches the Master God-tier level, it's basically impossible for my strength to break through the Master God-tier bottleneck and advance to the Supreme God realm. Zhou Zhou sighed. There is only one way to maximize efficiency. Create more clones. Only with more doppelgangers could he utilize the power of more kings. I'll make my 7th avatar tomorrow, Sunday. Zhou Zhou thought to himself as he sensed that more than half of his body had recovered. As his supreme sacred body reached the level of Master God-tier elementary grade, his origin recovery speed also increased significantly. In the past, after he consumed the divine medicine that replenished his origin, he needed 2 days to completely recover his origin. Now, he felt that with the help of the divine medicine, he only needed a day to completely recover his origin. In other words, in the future, he could create a clone every day, creating the combat power of the number 1 Master God tier below the Supreme God realm every day. Zhou Zhou nodded in satisfaction. Then, he looked at his newly awakened mythical tier Lord Talent. As the main body, even though he had spent the entire night comprehending the Lord's laws, his clone could use treasures like the Lord Talent Crystal Fragment to cultivate the supreme sacred body. Therefore, he could still awaken the mythical tier unique Lord Talent as usual today. After he saw the new Lord Talent, he raised his brows slightly and sighed. Still cares. Lord Talent, Great Prophecy, Mythical Tier, Unique. Specific Talent Effect, Future Prediction, consumes the energy in the body to predict what will happen in the future. It seems that the Supreme Sacred Body thinks that I'm worried about what will happen in today's Kingdom Founding War, so it specially awakened this Mythical Tier, Unique Lord Talent for me. Well, in that case, then let's have a look. At the thought of this, Zhou Zhou first activated the king and raised his strength to the level of a Master God tier advanced grade. Then, he immediately consumed the chaotic holy power in his body and activated the Great Prophecy. The next moment, Zhou Zhou immediately felt the chaotic holy power in his body gushing out like a floodgate opening. It was almost a second or two. All the chaotic sacred power in Zhou Zhou's body was exhausted. This shocked Zhou Zhou. One had to know that he had the top talent of the Shepherd's God race, 3,000 divine court realm apertures. The total amount of chaotic sacred power in his body was almost 3,000 times that of a Master God tier of the same level. It was actually used up in such a short period of time. It seems that what I'm about to predict is an unprecedented event. It's probably something comparable to the Supreme God realm, or higher. Zhou Zhou didn't dare to think too much about it. He immediately extracted more power from the subjects under his command and augmented it on himself, allowing his chaos holy power to recover to full. Then, a second or two later, it was exhausted by the Great Resurrection spell. Zhou Zhou did not dare to relax. He immediately mobilized his strength again to charge the Great Prophecy. A second or two later, the energy in his body was exhausted again before it was recharged. After repeating this over 100 times, his Great Prophecy finally revealed an image. That scene made Zhou Zhou's expression change slightly. Disbelief appeared on his face. How's that possible? I would actually lose? Zhou Zhou looked at the scene created by his Great Prophecy in shock. On the screen, a group of existences that resembled him, but were fundamentally different from him were looking at the corpses of the blazing sun army below with evil smiles. More than 10 corpses of the capital units won soldiers, tens of millions of god spirits won corpses, more than 5,000 true god-tier corpses, and more than half of the Blazing Sun Empire's master god-tier corpses were displayed on the Blazing Sun Empire's land like tattered pieces. And his corpse was among them. A rain of blood fell from the sky. The rich aura of divine power and promotion energy directly turned this battlefield into a blessed land comparable to a master god-tier region. Even though this blessed land was forged from the death of a vast number of Blazing Sun Empire soldiers and god spirits. When Zhou Zhou saw this scene, his heart turned cold, but he also felt very angry. He was furious from the bottom of his heart. He was the unquestionable number one lord of all races. Even those high-level bloodline races with overlord-level lord factions were severely injured or even exterminated by him. His reputation was remembered by the myriad worlds. All races regarded him as the starter and leader of a new era. He would actually fall in the kingdom-founding war of a tiny divine kingdom. What kind of joke was this? He even had the thought of cursing the Supreme Will now. Was this used to test the lords of all races? If I can't pass, how can the other lords pass? Zhou Zhou finally calmed down after a while. He looked at the great prophecy and tried to find the reason for his failure. At this moment, Zhou Zhou's clone suddenly turned around and looked at Zhou Zhou. Yo, isn't this your excellency common people's regal, who makes all the races in the myriad worlds wary and uneasy? Are you very flustered to see your future become like this? Ha ha ha, you can't beat me. That is because I am you. I have everything you have. How can you beat yourself? With that said, he waved his right hand, and the scene that Zhou Zhou had created with the great prophecy was forcefully closed. Zhou Zhou frowned. This guy even knew the great prophecy that he had just mastered? He is me. The subordinates summoned by the two chaotic divine demons flashed across Zhou Zhou's mind. Those subordinates looked exactly the same as his subordinates, but their methods were different. From the looks of it, the enemies he had encountered in the kingdom-founding war should belong to the same source as the chaotic divine demons. However, not only could this chaotic divine demons summon him and his subordinates who looked identical, but they could also completely replicate their methods, including all the methods he had mastered. And this was the reason why he said, I am you, and how can you defeat yourself? When Zhou Zhou thought of this, he could not help but frown deeply. He felt a headache coming on. Is the kingdom-founding war me dealing with myself? It was indeed very difficult to win. Most of his troops were on Cerulean planet, unless he used Gospel of Homecoming to withdraw all his subordinates from the active universe and return to the Blazing Sun Empire after all. Only then could he fight his clone fairly in terms of military strength. However, they were currently in the middle of an event. Unless it was an extremely special situation, Zhou Zhou really did not want to pull them out of the active universe. Even though this could be considered a special situation, Zhou Zhou was vexed. He would rather deal with a supreme god realm that suddenly descended than his replica. Zhou Zhou still had many supreme god realm techniques that he could try to fight head-on even when facing a supreme god realm. The outcome was still unknown. However, if they were facing each other and everyone knew each other's background, they would use supreme god realm techniques on each other. This way, other than causing a large number of ineffective casualties and wasting supreme god realm treasures, it would not affect the outcome at all. No matter what, the establishment of the divine kingdom cannot be delayed. It's better to face it later than later. I'm going to have to figure something out. Zhou Zhou pondered. Not only did the supreme sacred body bring he a powerful physique and talent, but it also raised his intelligence to an extremely high level. Hence, very quickly, he thought of a key to breaking the situation. Since the clone is already certain of victory, why forcefully interrupt my great prophecy? Wouldn't it make he feel better to activate the great prophecy and let he see the indignant expression on my face? Unless he doesn't want me to see anything, Zhou Zhou muttered to himself. Then he decisively took out the Bodhi Supreme. The Bodhi Supreme spoke first before he could ask. Don't ask me. The Supreme will just told me personally that I can't give you any advice or help in this kingdom-founding war. You're on your own. The Bodhi Supreme seemed to be gloating helplessly. Zhou Zhou was stunned for a moment before feeling helpless. Zhou Zhou. The Bodhi Supreme suddenly spoke, its tone abnormally serious. You've always been cautious. You're extremely unwilling to take risks without absolute confidence. As long as there's a 10% chance of danger, it's very likely that you won't do it, even if the remaining 90% is the benefit you want. That's a good point about you. But in some cases, it's a flaw. One day, you'll encounter a crisis that you can't resolve even if you're extremely cautious. At that time, the benefits you want might only have a 1% chance of obtaining. The remaining 99 degrees per degree will be your failure. And when that happens, where will you go? I know. You want to say that you're now the #1 expert of the Blazing Sun Empire, that you've defeated countless powerful enemies and protected the entire empire and the entire human race. How can you be a person without courage? I am not saying that you don't have the courage, but you don't seem to have ever experienced a great crisis of life and death. You've had such a smooth journey. It's time to go through this. I can be honest with you. If it were any other lord of the myriad races, the kingdom founding war they experienced during the process of establishing the divine kingdom would definitely not be like you. The enemy they are facing is at most the attack of a regular beginner-level divine kingdom lord. If they survive the attack, they can successfully become a divine kingdom lord faction. They are different from you. As for why you're so special, Bodhi Supreme smiled and sighed meaningfully. Naturally, it's because you're already a candidate recognized by the Supreme well as the Lord of all races. It's precisely because you're a candidate that the test you have to go through is naturally different from those lordship who can't enter the eyes of the Supreme will. Trust me, when you clear today's kingdom-founding war and establish your divine kingdom, the position of Lord of all races is not far from you. You have my word. It was rare for the Bodhi Supreme to say such words to Zhou Zhou. Zhou Zhou took a deep breath and smiled. Even though I don't agree with what you said, I don't think there's anything wrong with hiding. However, I will survive tomorrow's kingdom-founding war. Oh, what method do you have up your sleeve? Bodhi Supreme asked curiously. Secret. I don't want you to tell the Supreme will and get him to block my way out. Zhou Zhou pursed his lips. Bodhi Supreme was speechless. He actually treated it as a traitor? However, since Zhou Zhou was unwilling to say it, it did not ask further. Then, Zhou Zhou put away the Bodhi Supreme and used the great prophecy several times to test if the method he had thought of was enough to tide over today's difficulties. Finally, when he saw the scene he wanted to see, he could not help but smile in satisfaction. Following that, he stopped thinking about such matters. Instead, he consumed half of his origin to create his 7th clone, Sunday. Sunday, I have something I need you to do. Zhou Zhou immediately said to Sunday after creating him. I know what it is. I'll go and do it now. Sunday nodded and flew away. Seeing this, Zhou Zhou did not care anymore. He came to Mu Gu and obtained 8,000 trillion copies of the Yellow Talisman Dao Soldier recruitment books, 8,000 trillion copies of the Violent Storm Spirit recruitment books, 8,000 trillion copies of the Yellow Talisman Dao Soldier class change certificate, and 8,000 trillion copies of the Violent Storm Spirit class change certificate. Then, he and Wu Xian split into 2 groups and went to recruit soldiers. After doing all this, Zhou Zhou summoned today's subjects and 12 god spirits from the Gate of Summoning. Then, he arranged for all the combat subjects to work in the Homeland Defense Army. Then, he spent another 100 high-tiered deity-level advanced grade divine crystals to summon 66,666,666 pure-blooded dragons in one go. And then, something that surprised him happened. This was because there were legendary dragons among these pure-blooded dragons, and there were 2 of them at once. One was a legendary dragon, the yellow-gold sacred dragon god. One of them was a legendary dragon, the silver moon dragon god. One of them was completely golden and had a towering figure. It could be said to be world-shaking. The mighty dragon might swept in all directions, making Zhou Zhou exclaim. It was the absolute sovereign of the dragon race, the yellow-gold sacred dragon god. This person's status was one of the best among the many legendary dragons. The other was a silver-white dragon that emitted silver-white moonlight. It looked like a fairy in the moon. It was the silver moon dragon god. Even though it was not as physically invincible as the yellow-gold sacred dragon god, it was one of the best existences in the field of magic. He was good at all elemental magic, especially time magic and moonlight magic. He was even better at it. It was said that before the silver moon dragon god became a master god tier, it had relied on time magic and silver moon magic to kill a master god level enemy head-on. It was precisely because of this battle achievement that he became famous. Even after so many years, the peak experts of the myriad races would not forget that there was once a pure-blooded dragon who had a shocking battle record of defeating a master god-tier god spirit with a true god-tier body. With a thought, he invited the two legendary dragons out of Cosmos Emperor. Yellow Gold Sacred Dragon, Dio greets the Regal. Silver Moon Dragon God, Inessa greets the Regal. The two legendary dragon gods were very polite to Zhou Zhou. With the addition of the two of you in this emperor's territory, this emperor will definitely be like a tiger with wings in the future. Zhou Zhou smiled. Your Majesty, you flatter me. The yellow gold sacred dragon god and the silver moon dragon god smiled bitterly in shame. What a joke. Even 4 of the 10 legendary master god tiers had submitted to His Majesty. Even though they were legendary dragons, they did not have the confidence to compare themselves to such existences. Among all the legendary dragons, only their ancestor, the primordial dragon, first venerable, was ranked among the top 10 master gods after all. Moreover, it wasn't the strongest. Zhou Zhou smiled. Then, he led them and the pure blooded dragons he had just summoned to the dragon god army to join them. At this moment, boom, boom, 2 familiar roars, accompanied by incomparable divine might fluctuations, came from the direction of the reincarnation sacred palace and spread to the myriad worlds at an astonishing speed. Right on the heels of that, an illusory silver light soared into the sky. Wherever it passed, time and space dissolved, and none existed. After the illusory silver light arrived in the starry sky, a huge void hole even dissolved in the starry sky. At this moment, another chaotic light shot into the sky from the reincarnation sacred palace. It shot straight into the starry sky and formed an incomparably huge chaotic celestial body. In the chaos, thousands of laws were born from the chaos in a breath's time. Then, they quickly entered the process of destruction and disappeared. They lived to their deaths and reincarnated eternally. It was as if they were describing the fate of the laws in the most heartless language. At this moment, countless god spirits in the myriad worlds saw this scene. This familiar scene reminded them of something. Then, they hurriedly looked at the source of the phenomenon and saw the blazing sun imperial capital. When they saw this, their expressions immediately turned numb. The blazing sun empire actually gave birth to another master god tier. Furthermore, 2 master god tiers were born almost at the same time. The most terrifying thing is that I feel like I'm already used to it. Who knows how many master god tiers the blazing sun empire has now? You call this an empire? It's an overlord-level lord faction of the empire. The god's side. The other god spirits were envious, jealous, fearful, hopeful, and worried. As the person involved, Zhou Zhou naturally did not believe so much. Seeing that Yuan Song and Ying Ning had successfully become master god, he was only happy. As for the chaos humans who had moved over from the primal chaos ruins, when they saw that Ying Ning had become a master god, they cried even more excitedly. It had been too long. It had been too long since a new master god existence had been born among the chaos humans. The chaos humans often felt that one day in the future, they might completely disappear from this world. And ever since Zhou Zhou rescued them from the primal chaos ruins, they felt that they had seen the hope of the chaos humans being reborn. They became even more certain that Zhou Zhou was the hope of the chaos humans after seeing a junior like Ying Ning become a master god tier under Zhou Zhou. A moment later, the phenomenon dissipated. An illusory silver stream of light and a chaotic stream of light flew out of the Divine Kingdom world and instantly arrived in front of Zhou Zhou. Divine Lord of Disintegration, Yuan Tsong, greets your majesty. Primal Chaos Divine Lord, Ning greets your majesty. The two of them stated respectfully, "Congratulations on becoming master gods. This is a little gift for you." Zhou Zhou still followed the old rules and gave them a set of master god tier elementary grade divine artifacts that were suitable for them. "Thank you for the reward, your majesty." When Yuan Tsong and Ning saw this set of master god tier divine artifacts that suited them, they were instantly excited. As for Zhou Zhou, he smiled as he sensed the changes in the potential of his subjects. Then he sighed inwardly. This was because he realized that even though the human subjects under him had their lowest potential increased, they had not advanced from extraordinary tier advanced grade to epic tier elementary grade. Indeed, promoting from extraordinary tier to epic tier is a hurdle. We still require a new master god tier of the human race, Zhou Zhou thought. As for Yuan Tsong, he was a citizen of the shepherd's god race. It would not possess any effect on improving the human race's potential. Zhou Zhou looked at the two newly advanced master god tiers in front of him and calculated his subordinates. After adding 3.2 capital unit soldiers and 66,666,666,666 pure-blooded dragons, his subordinates increased from 22 capital units, 7,423,684,162,179,324 soldiers, 56,957,871 god spirits, 11,649 true gods, and 48 master gods to 25 capital units with 9,423,750,727,827,924 soldiers, 57,623,871 god spirits, 12,315 true god tiers, and 53 master gods, Yuan Tsong, Ning, Sunday, Yellow Gold Sacred Dragon, Silver Moon God. Zhou Zhou nodded slightly. Then he came to the Lord's shop and asked about today's new products as usual. Zhou Chengmin smiled. Then he took out 3 purple boxes from under the counter. He opened them one by one, and Zhou Zhou looked over. There were 2 heart treasures and 2 master god tier Book of the God Spirit quietly placed inside. Zhou Zhou looked at the 2 hearts that were emitting golden and silver light. Bloodline name: Yellow Gold Sacred Dragon God Bloodline. Bloodline level: enhanceable, unique. Bloodline effect: after absorbing it, the user can obtain the enhanceable, unique bloodline, the bloodline of the Yellow Gold Sacred Dragon God. After fusing with this bloodline, the user will gradually awaken the racial ability of the Yellow Gold Sacred Dragon God during the growth process. Bloodline name: Silver Moon Dragon God Bloodline. Bloodline level: enhanceable, unique. Bloodline effect: after absorbing it, the user can obtain the enhanceable, unique bloodline, Silver Moon Dragon God Bloodline. After fusing with this bloodline, the user will gradually awaken the Silver Moon Dragon God's racial ability during the growth process. The corners of Zhou Zhou's mouth twitched a few times after reading it. Good God, these 2 legendary dragons have just arrived on my side, and you're already putting them up for sale? A seamless connection, you. However, it had to be said that even though the upper limit of these 2 bloodlines was also Master God tier advanced grade, they did have a certain value. If he bought it and fused it into his bloodline, he would definitely not lose out. He made up his mind to buy these 2 bloodlines. Then, he looked at the 2 Master God tier advanced grade books of the God Spirit in the last box. Their master gods were none other than Yuan Tsong and Ning, who had just broken through to the Master God tier realm. Zhou Zhou. He took a deep breath and suppressed the urge to complain before saying, "How much are these 3-4 products?" It was quite rare. This was the first time he had seen the Lord's shop sell 2 goods in a box. "Is this a bundle sale?" Zhou Zhou complained in his heart. The Golden Divine Dragon Bloodline of Master God Tier Advanced Master is worth 10,000 Master God Tier Advanced Master Divine Crystals. The Silver Moon Dragon God Bloodline of a Master God Tier Advanced Master is worth 8,000 Master God Tier Advanced Grade Divine Crystals. The last two books, the Divine Lord of Disintegration's Book of the God Spirit, are worth 3,000 Master God Tier Advanced Grade Divine Crystals. The Primal Chaos Divine Lord's Book of the God Spirit is worth 5,000 Master God Tier Advanced Grade Divine Crystals. Zhou Chengmin smiled. Zhou Zhou didn't waste any time. He directly gave him 26,000 Master God Tier Advanced Grade Divine Crystals and bought the item. Thanks for your patronage. Zhou Qingmin accepted the divine crystals with a smile. Zhou Zhou nodded and returned to the shrine with the 4 items. Then, he threw 2 of the Book of the God Spirit into the military merit exchange system and integrated the bloodlines of the 2 legendary dragons into his body. In fact, as he, who had cultivated the supreme sacred body, whether the chaos human bloodline was strong or not didn't matter much to him. Even if the chaos human bloodline was raised to the limit, it was far inferior to the supreme sacred body after all. However, Zhou Zhou had relied on the chaos human bloodline to walk all the way here, so he still wanted to raise it to the extreme. Just treat it as a little bit of his OCD. After fusing with the chaos human bloodline, Zhou Zhou indeed realized that his chaos human bloodline was still stuck at the high-tier deity level advanced grade, unable to break through to the true god-tier level. It was as if he was missing a key catalyst. What exactly is lacking in my chaos human bloodline? Zhou Zhou thought. He felt a little helpless. When he asked the Bodhi Supreme, the Bodhi Supreme didn't say anything either. It was said that it was related to something of a higher level. It might even be related to the supreme will and the creation myth of the Crimson Overlord. He shook his head and stopped thinking about it. In any case, what he valued the most now was the cultivation and improvement of the supreme sacred body. As for the chaos human bloodline, it was fine. Then, he clicked on the item and checked the contents of today's item. The first thing he saw was the time-limited open goods that had finally refreshed after Venus. Obscure Lord Shop. Day 6. Time-limited open goods. Myriad Tao Monument. Universal Race Divine Artifact. Quantity. Unique. The Myriad Tao Monument records all the laws in the myriad worlds, including the Myriad Lord's Law and the Crimson Law. All living beings can see the most suitable laws and comprehend the laws in front of the Myriad Tao Monument until they cultivate to the Master God Tier Advanced Grade. Price: 50 million Obscure Lord Shop Points. Note: this item will be taken off the shelves in 3 days. Lords who want to buy it, please buy it before the item is taken off the shelves. After reading it, Zhou Zhou's breathing immediately quickened. There is actually such a good thing. Not only did it record all the laws of the myriad worlds, but it could also let life forms see the most suitable laws on the Myriad Tao Monument. How much time would that save for the living beings who wanted to become gods? Since ancient times, there have been countless geniuses in the cultivation world. It was precisely because they had taken the wrong path on the path of the laws that all their previous efforts had been wasted. If one was lucky, they could rely on their willpower and luck to cultivate again. If one was unlucky, their Tao heart might collapse and they would never be able to advance again. Those with the worst luck might even be in danger of dying. Everything mentioned above would not happen again in front of the Myriad Tao Monument. This treasure that could guide the path of laws was almost equivalent to a weakened version of the Book of the God Spirit. However, even for Zhou Zhou, the Book of the God Spirit was limited. However, as long as he had the Myriad Tao Monument, Zhou Zhou would have an endlessly weakened version of the Book of the God Spirit. Exchange. He had to exchange for it. The value of this universal race divine artifact was only higher than Venus. Without hesitation, he took out 50 million Obscure Lord points and quickly bought this race divine artifact. At this point, he still had 36,099,260 Obscure Lord shop points left. In the next second, a chaotic stone tablet that was more than 3,000 meters tall appeared in the sky above the shrine. Okay. Not bad, not bad. Zhou Zhou looked at it for a while before nodding in satisfaction. It was just as the introduction had said. This 10,000 laws stone tablet contained all the laws of the myriad worlds. There were even two supreme laws, his Lord Law and Crimson Law. He actually felt that his understanding of the Lord's laws had vaguely gained some new ideas after watching for a while. It's really a supreme treasure. Zhou Zhou smiled. Then, he began to think about a problem. Where should he put this supreme divine tablet? Soon, he made a decision. It's really a waste for us God spirits to enjoy such a good divine monument alone. Let existences below legendary tier take a look. What if there's a genius among them who can understand laws below the legendary tier level? Zhou Zhou muttered to himself. He could do it if he wanted to. With a thought, he saw the myriad Tao monument transform into a stream of light that flew out of the divine kingdom world and arrived in the sky above the divine kingdom. Then, the supreme divine tablet quickly enlarged. 1,000 meters, 10,000 meters, 100,000 meters, 1,000,000 meters, 10 million meters. When the myriad Tao monument reached a height of 10 million meters, Zhou Zhou made it stop growing. As such a huge myriad Tao monument should be able to let more people see it. However, this was not the end. Zhou Zhou used the all the land in the world belongs to the king nomological domain and set a rule within a radius of 10 million square kilometers with the myriad Tao monument as the core. Those who view and comprehend the myriad Tao monument must be subjects of the blazing sun empire. Furthermore, they must not reveal the existence of the myriad Tao monument. Other than the subjects of the blazing sun empire, no one else can be seen or heard. That's good. Zhou Zhou chuckled after setting the rules. He could be infinitely generous to his subjects. However, he didn't want to give a single cent to a subject who wasn't under him, but wanted to take advantage of him. Moreover, if he set such rules, he could temporarily hide the news that the myriad Tao monument had fallen into his hands and not let the other 10,000 races know. This way, all the factions of the myriad races would think that the one exchanging for the myriad Tao monument was the Azure Emperor of the mortal empire and not him, the common people's regal. Not long ago, when the myriad Tao monument had just refreshed in the 6th day's product, all the factions of the myriad races had also seen the existence of the myriad Tao monument. After seeing the effect of the myriad Tao monument, the eyes of all the races, including the original spirit race, turned red. This myriad Tao monument can help races create endless god spirits, true god tiers, and even master god tiers. The Supreme will actually has such a treasure, and he's even willing to take it out as a reward for the Lord's activities? I'm jealous. He's really nurturing the descendants of the Lords as his successors. I wish I was also a Lord of all races. Why am I the leader of our race? 50 million obscure Lord shop points. Who do you think will be the first to exchange for it? The greatest possibility is naturally the Azure Emperor of the mortal empire. He already has Venus? He still dares to ask for this myriad Tao monument. Even he dares to ask for Venus. Do you think he doesn't dare to ask for the myriad Tao monument again? That's true. I wonder what the common people's regal is doing. Is he really not participating in this event? I don't think it's that simple. Do you think there's a possibility that the Azure Emperor is just a puppet pushed out by the common people's regal to stand on the stage? When the puppet has obtained enough benefits, the common people's regal will stand up and take over everything of the Azure Emperor. If you were the Azure Emperor, would you willingly hand them over? The lords of all races discussed the myriad Tao monument. As for the leaders of the top bloodline races and high bloodline races, they were also crazy about this myriad Tao monument. I must exchange this for this myriad Tao monument. I can't let the Azure Emperor exchange for it again. This myriad Tao monument is far more important than Venus. We can't obtain Venus, but we have to obtain this myriad Tao monument. The leaders of the myriad races were all going crazy over this universal race divine artifact. At this moment, something happened that shocked all the leaders of the races. The myriad Tao monument that was in the 6th day's list just now had actually disappeared. After being stunned for a moment, a name appeared in the minds of all the leaders. The Azure Emperor. It must be him. It must be the Azure Emperor. Only he can exchange for the myriad Tao monument so quickly at this stage. That's right. It must be him. First, it was Venus. Then, it was the myriad Tao monument. Azure Emperor actually has two supreme treasures on him. Azure Emperor, oh Azure Emperor, this time, you have to die even if you don't want to. If anyone can obtain the treasures of the Azure Emperor, not only can they become a top-notch bloodline race in the future, but they can even surpass the original spirit race and become the #1 race in the myriad worlds. Azure Emperor is really a heart-stirring enemy. After the leaders of the myriad races guessed that the Azure Emperor had exchanged for the myriad Tao monument again, the killing intent accumulated in their hearts was finally no longer concealed. They all wanted to destroy the Azure Emperor and obtain these two race divine artifacts to achieve their race's great undertaking. Speaking of which, Zhou Zhou realized that there were no longer any time-limited items after Zhou Zhou exchanged for the myriad Tao monument. Obviously, it was impossible for top-grade divine artifacts like Venus and the myriad Tao monument to appear again. At least for the time being, it would not appear again. Then, he checked to see if he could buy all the other goods. After realizing that he couldn't, he stopped thinking about it. Instead, he sat in the shrine and ordered Zhou Wen and Saturday to attack today's chaotic divine demons. Then, he watched from inside the shrine. After conducting the Chaos Tao Worship ceremony on Tao Worship Peak, a chaotic divine demons with a divine body that was about the size of an ordinary person walked out of the chaos vortex. Hello, everyone. I am a chaos illusion godfiend. You can call me Illusion. Illusion said very politely. Then, he looked at Zhou Wen and Saturday and grinned. I wonder why you woke me up. I'll kill you and take the chaos divine treasure. Zhou Wen said. Sure. Then come and kill me. Illusion nodded and did nothing. He did not even summon the duplicate soldier. He looked like he was waiting for death. Zhou Wen nodded subconsciously and was stunned. What did you say? Kill me. Illusion waved his hands and said nothing. Aren't you going to resist? Zhou Wen was surprised. What's the use of resisting? My first two friends were easily killed by you. I'm not much stronger than them. Resistance is useless. In that case, I'll be killed by you. In any case, I'll be alive again before long. It's not like I'm really dead. Illusion said. Zhou Wen scratched his head. It makes sense. Brother, you're open-minded. Saturday gave him a thumbs up. Illusion nodded indifferently and said, Your Di Huang should be carrying out the advancement of the divine kingdom, right? Let me give you a piece of advice. The enemy that he will encounter is very strong. That's the only existence that can fight Di Huang equally. Be careful. Why do you look like you're still standing on our side? Sunday felt strange. That guy looks like he is second to Di Huang every day. I've long disliked he. If you can defeat him, I'll be very happy. Illusion said with a smile. Then, he came in front of he and destroyed the other party's core with a single strike. After sending the other party into destruction, he extracted the loots and successfully obtained 4 chaos divine treasures. He flipped his right hand and saw the other 8 chaos divine treasures appear in his hand. They were placed together with the 4 newly obtained chaos divine treasures. I've gathered all the chaos divine treasures. I can finally upgrade my kingdom. And then, we can build a divine kingdom. Zhou Wen muttered to himself. Then, he led the army back to the Blazing Sun Empire. After Zhou Wen returned to the capital, he immediately handed all the chaos divine treasures to Zhou Zhou. Zhou Zhou and his clones had their own responsibilities. For example, Zhou Wen, Saturday, and Zhou Qi were in charge of expanding their territories in the Supreme Continent and conquering the chaotic divine demons to obtain chaotic divine treasures. Zhou Fight and Zhou Wu were in charge of carrying out the Lord Activity mission in the active universe. Zhou Tianming was in charge of being his mission expert. Zhou Manage was in charge of government affairs. Naturally, it was better for the main body to personally do something as important as upgrading the territory. Zhou Zhou didn't waste any time after obtaining the 12 chaos divine treasures. He immediately arrived above the capital and looked down at the huge capital. From a wooden house to an imperial capital. Next, it will be promoted to the divine capital. It feels like a lifetime ago. Zhou Zhou muttered to himself. There was a faint smile on his face. Then, his expression turned solemn as he looked at the chaos divine treasure in his hand. Then, his expression turned solemn as he looked at the chaos divine treasure in his hand. In the next second, they disappeared accompanied by 4 Guy unit basic materials, 10,000 true God tier elementary grade divine crystals, 1,000 trillion origin crystals, 10 units of chaos divine treasures, and 10 true God tier elementary grade territory tokens. A text notification appeared. Congratulations, your high-tier deity level advanced grade shrine, Lord's Law, has successfully been upgraded to a true God tier elementary grade building and advanced to the world of gods, Lord's Law. Your territory has successfully upgraded to a true God tier elementary grade territory. Your high-tier deity level advance grade divine origin augmentation formation has been upgraded to the true God tier elementary grade origin formation. Territory stone steel durability increased to 1,000 trillion 11,000 trillion. Your territory has expanded to 10 billion kilometers x 10 billion kilometers x 1 million km. All fog monsters within the territory of the new territory have been expelled. Scarlet fog will not appear in any of your territories. You have received an upgrade reward. Mythical tier building blueprint treasure chest, true God tier elementary grade. Lord Talent notification. Your Scarlet Broodmother can be upgraded. Lord Talent hint. Your mysterious caravan faction has increased. Lord Talent notification. The strength of the clergy of your life arc has increased. Zhou Zhou nodded in satisfaction. He had finally advanced to a true God tier elementary grade territory. In the next second, an even more dignified and loud voice sounded. Cerulean Planet World Channel Lord announcement. Congratulations to the Lord of the Blazing Sun, becoming the first Lord to upgrade his territory to low-tier deity level elementary grade. Reward: Supreme Treasure Chest +1, Mythical Reputation Rating +3, Reputation Rating +1,000, Unique Title of the Race. Glory of the Pioneer 11 has advanced to Glory of the Pioneer 12. All Race Lord announcement. Congratulations to the Blazing Sun Empire, high level, Lord of the Blazing Sun. All Race Lord announcement. Congratulations to the Blazing Sun Empire, high level, Lord of the Blazing Sun. It actually became a full channel announcement for the Lords of all races? Zhou Zhou frowned. He remembered that the previous announcements were all announced in the Lord channel of Cerulean Planet. He did not expect to level up this time. Was it because he had upgraded his territory to the true God tier elementary grade? Zhou Zhou had some guesses, but he did not think too much about it. Regardless of what reason he had, as long as there were benefits, he looked at the new title and smiled. Title: Glory of the Pioneer 12. Title quality: Unique Title of the Race. Title effect 1. You are famous among the Cerulean Planet Lords. More people admire your reputation and yearn to join your territory. The number of subjects you can summon through the gate of summoning every day plus 1,200%. Professional talents of the same level as the territory among the subjects summoned plus 13. Title effect 2. Same as before. Title effect 3. When you become the first Lord of Cerulean Planet with a low-tier deity level elementary grade territory, this title will be upgraded to Glory of the Pioneer 13, and more title effects will be unlocked. Zhou Zhou nodded after reading it. However, the number of subjects he summoned increased by 12 times. In addition, there were 13 professional talents of the same level as the territory among the subjects summoned. Moreover, the territory this time had been upgraded to a true God tier elementary grade territory, which meant he would be able to summon 13 true God tier elementary grade God spirits the next morning. Zhou Zhou clicked his tongue in wonder. Generally speaking, 3 true God tier existences were enough to be worshipped by a true God of a Lord's kingdom, allowing him to be qualified to be promoted to a divine kingdom Lord faction. To most life forms, a true God expert was already in existence that stood at the top of the heavens. He could actually summon 13 of them every day. If other life forms and lords knew about this, they would probably be extremely envious. It's not a waste of my advancement. I've never broken this title. I look forward to the day when I can summon 14 master gods every day. Zhou Zhou's old ambition had just been satisfied when his new ambition began to bomb, recruiting 14 master gods in a day. At that time, even the three top bloodline races, the original spirit race, the shepherd's god race, and the chaos gods race, would be dumbfounded. They would feel as if their worldview had been overturned. At that time, even the three top bloodline races, the original spirit race, the shepherd's god race, and the chaos gods race, would be dumbfounded. They would feel as if their worldview had been overturned. If I can summon 14 master gods a day, even if I sit still every day and don't do anything, I can still lie down and become the #1 lord of all races. Zhou Zhou sighed. At that time, it would be strange if the position of the lord of all races did not belong to him. At the thought of this, he did not have time to look at the rewards. Instead, he opened the territory panel and checked the requirements for the territory to be upgraded to true God tier intermediate grade territory. Construction upgrade: 10 Gai units of wood, 10 Gai units of fine sand, 10 Gai units of metal, 10 Gai units of stone, 10,000 divine crystals of true God tier intermediate grade, 5,000 trillion origin crystals, 50 units of chaos divine treasures, 10 regional territories of true God tier intermediate grade god spirits, 5 million racial heroes, 10 territory tokens of true God tier intermediate grade. Basic materials: divine crystals, origin crystals, true God tier intermediate grade regional territories, true God tier intermediate grade god spirits, racial heroes, and territory tokens. I'm satisfied with. I'm only lacking chaos divine treasures. Zhou Zhou frowned slightly. 50 units of chaos divine treasures was not a small number. After he upgraded his territory, he only had 2 units of chaos divine treasure left. In other words, he still needed 48 units of chaos divine treasures to upgrade his territory to true God tier intermediate grade. However, according to the 4 units of chaos divine treasures obtained in a day, he would need at least 12 days to gather them all and use them to upgrade his territory. Actually, 12 days isn't that long, but it would be better if it were shorter. Zhou Zhou sighed. He thought for a moment, took out Bodhi Supreme, and asked, Bodhi Supreme, is there any way to let me obtain more chaos divine treasures in a short period of time? Kill more chaotic divine demons. Bodhi Supreme said casually. Where are more chaotic divine demons? Zhou Zhou's eyes lit up. Judging by Bodhi Supreme's tone, could there be a way out? Chaotic divine demons are special life forms evolved from part of his incomplete body after the death of the chaos will. They can be said to be a special product of the law of chaos. Therefore, as long as the law of chaos still exists in this world, they are almost indestructible. However, because the Supreme Will and the Crimson Overlord have always wanted to recover the incomplete divine body of the Chaos Will to make up for the shortcomings of their multiverse, most of these chaotic divine demons are living very tragic lives. If it weren't for the fact that an invincible existence appeared among the chaotic divine demons and created the divine demon realm that protected the chaotic divine demons, these chaotic divine demons would have fallen into the hands of the Supreme Will and the Crimson Overlord. Bodhi Supreme said. Zhou Zhou was deep in thought. Could the chaotic divine demons that he had summoned through the Chaos Tao worship ceremony 3 times were in the divine demon realm that Bodhi Supreme had mentioned? And the Di Huang that the chaotic illusion divine demons were talking about was the invincible existence that the Bodhi Supreme said had single-handedly created the divine demon realm among the chaotic divine demons? At this moment, the Bodhi Supreme finally got to the point. It's not impossible for you to obtain more chaos divine treasures. Chaotic divine demons love freedom by nature. In addition, they need the chaotic chi of the outside world to cultivate. Therefore, even if they know that the outside world is dangerous, some chaotic divine demons will sneak out every once in a while. They often wander around the Chaos Sea to cultivate. If you're interested, you can go to the Chaos Sea to ask them for the Chaos Divine Treasure. Bodhi Supreme said. Zhou Zhou frowned slightly. Chaos Sea? Wasn't that the territory of the Chaos God's race? He had originally thought that before he had less than 50 master gods under him. He had no intention of finding trouble with those top bloodline races. The other party had a deep foundation and many methods after all. Even if Zhou Zhou developed rapidly and had many trump cards, if he really fought the other party head-on, he might not be the one at a disadvantage. However, now that he knew that there were chaotic divine demons in the Chaos Sea, Zhou Zhou had no choice but to go even if he did not want to. Everything was worth it in order to speed up the development of the territory. Even though 12 days were short, with he surrounded by enemies, who could guarantee that no accidents would happen in these 12 days. He did not dare to entrust his future to an accident. I have to make a good plan before going to the Chaos Sea. We can't just lead the troops over, Zhou Zhou thought. If possible, it was better not to have any conflicts. Then, he casually opened the World Channel and the Lord Channel of the myriad races and checked their reactions as usual. Establishing a true God-tier elementary grade territory just like that? Doesn't this mean that the other party is not far from establishing a divine kingdom? Based on my understanding of common people's regal's habits, I reckon that after a while, common people's regal will establish a divine kingdom that belongs to him. This is because the previous kingdoms and empires were all like this, and the divine kingdoms are most likely not too different. Oh my God, the race behind me only has a beginner-level divine kingdom lord faction. Now, the common people's regal, a lord of all races, is about to have his own beginner divine kingdom. This time, the common people's regal is really going to widen the gap between us. I'm used to it. I'm used to it. After Zhou Zhou read it, the corners of his lips curled up slightly. HL build a divine kingdom for you to see after some time. However, he had other things to do before that. He first checked the rewards for the lords of all races. There was naturally no need to mention the 10 mythical reputation rating talents and 10,000 reputation rating rewards. They were all rewards for talents, and the highest level was no more than a true god. If it was in the past, Zhou Zhou might have been very happy. However, to the current Zhou Zhou, he might only have some emotional fluctuations if a master god came to join him. He looked directly at the supreme treasure chest. After opening it, he saw a strange doll wrapped in the aura of death with a sinister smile on its face lying quietly in the treasure chest. Zhou Zhou sensed the familiar aura on the doll and raised his eyebrows slightly. He picked it up and looked at it. A text notification appeared. Race Divine Artifact Name, Death Whispering Doll Laura. Divine Artifact Rank, Race Divine Artifact. Race Divine Artifact Ability Death Curse. Tell the will of Death Laura about the life form you want to kill. Your death requirement can be met as long as the other party is a life form and is at the Master God or below. Note, after using this race's divine artifact, it can only be accumulated and reused after 7 days. Good Lord, it's the Book of God of Death. Zhou Zhou raised his eyebrows. However, this thing didn't seem to be of much use to him. With his current strength, if he really wanted to kill someone, would that person still be alive? If I use this thing to curse and kill the original master gods, the Source, the Heaven Curse Beast, and Di Huang, what will happen? Can we curse them to death as well? Zhou Zhou suddenly thought of something. That was really possible without saying anything else. The Will of Death was a legendary will-level existence after all. With his status, it would be a joke if he couldn't kill a master gods. However, after some thought, Zhou Zhou did not use the death-whispering doll to curse them to death. It was mainly because they were not a threat to him at the moment. If he really wanted to kill them, he could do it by himself. It was best to use this race's divine artifact under specific circumstances and then have the effect of making the final decision. Assassinations carried out by conventional weapons, other than confusing the situation, were actually not very useful. There wasn't only one master god tier among the few races he wanted to deal with after all. There would be other master gods to replace them, even if they were to be killed. This wouldn't be of much use. Thinking of this, he put away the race's divine artifact. Then, he called Aaliyah over and asked her to call Mu Gu, Zheng Fugui, and Carol Moeli over. Soon, they came over. Greetings, Your Majesty, the three of them said in unison. The territory has just advanced. Tell me about your improvements. Zhou Zhou nodded and said. Mu Gu was the first to stand up. Your Majesty, the Scarlet Broodmother that I'm currently in has been upgraded from a high-tier deity-level advanced grade to a true God-tier elementary grade. The number of Mist Mothers evolved from the true God-tier elementary grade Scarlet Broodmother has increased from 1 million to 5 million. Each Mist Mother's Mist Mother world can now nurture 10 billion fog monsters. 5 million Mist Mothers can nurture a total of 5 capital units fog monsters. In addition, the quality and efficiency of cultivating high-quality Scarlet Heirs has also increased. Currently, I can nurture 5 Scarlet True God Tier Advanced grades or 20 Elementary grade Scarlet God Spirits in a day. As for ordinary Scarlet God Spirits, I can create 100,000 Scarlet God Spirits in a day. Mugu said respectfully. A shocked expression appeared on Zhou Zhou's face. Zhou Zhou was shocked. 5 million Mist Mothers, and every Mist Mother could nurture to billion fog monsters. This would be 5 capital units fog monsters in total, which meant if he used all these Mist Mothers to nurture soldier types on average, with the enhancement of Lord talents and titles like the King of Loots, he could obtain to capital units, Yellow Talisman Dao Soldier Recruitment Books, 10 capital units, Yellow Talisman Dao Soldier Class Change Certificate, 10 capital units, Violent Storm Spirit Recruitment Books, and 10 capital units, Violent Storm Spirit Class Change Certificate, which meant he could have an additional 4.0 capital units recruits in a day. How many soldiers did he have under him now? Only 25 soldiers in the capital units. He could gain troops that far exceeded his total military strength in a day. As expected of the advancement of a major class, it had really increased a lot and was much stronger than the advancement of a small class. Zhou Zhou sighed. In addition, Mugu's performance in nurturing the Scarlet God Spirit was also very ridiculous. Under the circumstances of nurturing God Spirits with all his might, Mugu could actually create 5 Scarlet True God Tier Advanced Grade True Gods, or 20 Elementary Grade True Gods, or even 100,000 ordinary Scarlet God Spirits in a day. The original spirit races, he didn't even dare to dream of such a thing as the #1 race in the myriad worlds. Even though Mugu's ability to nurture Scarlet God Spirits was awesome, Zhou Zhou still had the same thoughts. It was better to nurture new recruits. He would not nurture the Scarlet God Spirit. In any case, God Spirits would be born from new recruits. Furthermore, with the enhancement of his various Lord talents, this speed would not be slow. Hence, Zhou Zhou thought for a moment and said, leave 1 million Mist Mothers amongst the 5 million behind to specially nurture the Iron-Eating Bear and the Withered Tree. The other 4 million Mist Mothers will be used to nurture the Violent Storm Demon Spirit, and the other 2 million to nurture the Yellow Talisman Dao Soldiers. Even though he did not use it all to nurture the Violent Storm Spirit and the Yellow Talisman Dao Soldier, a total of 4 million Mist Mothers could also help him obtain 8 capital units, Yellow Talisman Dao Soldier Recruitment Books, 8 capital units, Yellow Talisman Dao Soldier Class Change Certificate, 8 capital units, Violent Storm Spirit Recruitment Books, and 8 capital units, Violent Storm Spirit Class Change Certificate. There would be a total of 32 capital unit soldiers if he converted all these recruitment books and class change certificates into new recruits. It was 10 times the number of soldiers he recruited every day. Previously, the number of new recruits recruited every day was only 3.2 capital units. Not bad, not bad. The more Zhou Zhou thought about it, the more satisfied he was. At this rate, in 3 days, or even 2 days, the total number of troops under he could exceed 2 capital units. This number of troops was something that even high-level bloodline races could not compare to. Perhaps only top-notch bloodline races like the original Spirit race, the Shepherd's God race, and the Chaos Gods race could have such troops. Yes, Your Majesty. On the other side, Mugu immediately said respectfully after hearing Zhou Zhou's words. Then, he retreated. Seeing this, Zheng Fuguei stepped forward. Reporting to Your Majesty. The number of mysterious merchants has increased from 20 billion to 2 billion after our territory advanced to true God-tier elementary grade. The number of carriages transporting goods has also increased to 50 billion. Among these 2 billion mysterious merchants, there are a total of 1 billion true God tiers, 30 billion ordinary God spirits, and 690 upper-level legendary tier experts. Our treasure hunting ability has increased again in probability. In the future, when we go out to do business, we should be able to bring back at least 100,000 god-tier treasures each time. In addition, our branch of the mysterious Merchant Chamber of Commerce has already become one of the core branches of the headquarters of the mysterious Merchant Chamber of Commerce. In the future, if the mysterious Merchant Chamber of Commerce finds any benefits in the myriad worlds, before it becomes an auction item or is used for trading with other existences, it will be handled by the core members of our mysterious Merchant Chamber of Commerce. In other words, we will deal with it first. Which means, in the future, we will have the priority to buy new treasures that the mysterious Merchant Chamber of Commerce finds in the myriad worlds. At the same time, we also have the right to buy information-type goods within the mysterious Merchant Chamber of Commerce. We can learn about the information commodities that the members of the mysterious Merchant Chamber of Commerce have gathered from the myriad worlds, such as the origin of the treasure, who is what treasure, the location of what existence, various world secrets, and other information by spending the points of the mysterious Merchant Chamber of Commerce. As for other guests from the outside world, if they want to obtain similar information, they often have to pay 100, 1,000, or even 10,000 times the price. The cost is huge. As for the points of the mysterious Merchant Chamber of Commerce, they can be obtained by selling treasures to the mysterious Merchant Chamber of Commerce. In addition, as one of the core branches of the mysterious Merchant Chamber of Commerce, we can also obtain 1,000 fixed mysterious Merchant Chamber of Commerce points as our salary every day. He said respectfully. Zhou Zhou nodded, very satisfied. He did not expect that the mysterious Merchant Chamber of Commerce, which was an elementary grade true god tier, would become the core branch of a super organization that spanned across the myriad worlds. In the future, if his territory advanced to the Master God tier level, or even the Master God tier advanced grade, would his mysterious Merchant Chamber of Commerce branch be in charge of the entire mysterious Merchant Chamber of Commerce? Zhou Zhou felt that it was very likely. In addition, be it the priority of the mysterious Chamber of Commerce to buy treasures or the intelligence function, they were both very practical, especially the former. As someone who had participated in a mysterious auction once, Zhou Zhou knew very well that the mysterious Merchant Chamber of Commerce had supreme God realm treasures or even willpower level inheritances. Even though there were few of the latter, there were still some. If Zhou Zhou grasped this channel, it was equivalent to grasping a path to obtain a supreme God realm treasure or even a will level inheritance. It was of great significance. The more Zhou Zhou thought about it, the more satisfied he was with the advancement of the mysterious Chamber of Commerce. Zheng Fuguei left after saying that. Carol Moeli stood up and said respectfully, seeing this. Reporting to Your Majesty, after the territory was upgraded to the true God tier elementary grade, our life arc already has 1,000 trillion clergymen, 1,000 trillion priests, 1,000 trillion nuns, and 2 capital units of life paladins. These clergymen are enough to complete the War Treatment mission and the War Resurrection mission for 100 capital units. Also, currently, there are 50 million high-level Divine Duty members of the Life Arc's God Spirit level. Every one of them has mastered the resurrection spells, and they can resurrect the deities of our country alone. As for my strength, it has now increased from Master God tier elementary grade to Master God tier advanced grade. It can independently revive any life form below the Master God tier advanced grade and elementary grade. Very good. Zhou Zhou was even happier. The strongest person in his territory was only at the Master God tier advanced grade, which meant no God spirit needed to worry about being unable to revive after death in his territory for now. This could greatly increase the courage of the God spirits under him to risk their lives in battle. Furthermore, the clergy of the Life Arc could complete the War Treatment mission and War Resurrection mission of 2 capital units. In a short period of time, it was enough to satisfy his War Treatment and War Resurrection needs. Then, he chatted with the 3 of them for a while before letting them leave. Right on the heels of that, he left the shrine and came to the Gate of Summoning. He spent 4 Gai units of basic materials and L.000 low-level true God tier divine crystals to upgrade the Gate of Summoning to the true God tier elementary grade. Congratulations! Your gate of summoning has successfully been upgraded to a true God tier elementary grade building. You can summon plus 10 million subjects every day. 100,000 professionals will definitely appear among the subjects you summon every day. Prompt. Under the influence of the unique title of the race, Glory of the Pioneer 12, the number of subjects you can summon every day reaches 191,586,000. 100,013 professionals will definitely appear among the subjects you summon every day. Zhou Zhou nodded after reading it. The basic number of subjects summoned for true God tier elementary grade gate of summoning was 15,965,500. It directly increased by 12 times, becoming 191,586,000 people after being enhanced by the glory of the Pioneer 11. Then, he glanced at the requirement to upgrade the gate of summoning. Building upgrade: 10 wood guy units, 10 thin sand guy units, 10 metal guy units, 10 stone guy units, 1,000 true God tier intermediate crystals. Territory level upgraded to true God tier intermediate grade. Zhou Zhou retracted his gaze and looked at the requirement to upgrade the original Dragon Abyss. Then, he could not help but take a deep breath. To upgrade the original Dragon Abyss, you need to establish a divine kingdom and have the worship of a Master God tier Dragon God. There's no problem with a Master God tier Dragon God offering. Other than the Abyssal Holy Dragon, Nazario, and the Light Sacred Dragon, Ingersoll, the other legendary dragons were summoned from the original Dragon Abyss. They originally had the strength of a top-notch Master God tier. They just specially demoted their strength to adapt to the summoning requirements. If I need it, they can open the restrictions at any time and recover their strength as a Master God tier. That leaves one requirement: to establish a Divine Kingdom Lord faction. Let's begin. Zhou Zhou was not a hesitant person. He immediately gathered the army and prepared to welcome today's founding war. A moment later, after the soldiers and god spirits were all in position, Bai Yun asked, "Your Majesty, do you need me to bring all the troops from the Cerulean planet over?" "No need." Zhou Zhou shook his head. Bai Yun could not help but be surprised since she knew how powerful the enemy His Majesty was about to face was. That was His Majesty's own army of clones after all. Bai Yun immediately felt a headache when she thought of having all the means of His Majesty. She knew too well how difficult they were to deal with as His Majesty's most trusted subordinate. Among them, the most difficult and despairing was His Majesty himself. Even she did not know how many tricks His Majesty was hiding. In any case, she knew that it would definitely be earth-shattering once His Majesty used all his methods. Of course, there was a high chance that the replica would have the same effect when used. This was what gave Bai Yun and the rest the most headache. She already had a premonition that it would probably be an incomparably tragic battle regardless of whether or not they were to win today. How should we fight this battle? Bai Yun thought to herself. Zhou Zhou couldn't help but smile when he saw her frowning. How could he not know what Bai Yun was thinking? He smiled and comforted her. "Don't think too much about it. This Majesty is already prepared. We will definitely win today's battle." Bai Yun was stunned. Then, she looked at His Majesty's confident and indifferent handsome face and gradually smiled. His Majesty always made people feel at ease and reliable. Nothing seemed to be able to stop His Majesty. "Yes, we will definitely win." Bai Yun's expression also became firm. Even though she didn't know where His Majesty's confidence came from, he chose to believe His Majesty unconditionally. "Your Majesty, when do we start the war?" Bai Yun asked. "Wait a little longer. By the way, have you informed the subjects?" Zhou Zhou asked. "Everything's been notified. All the subjects are already prepared for war and can participate in the battle on behalf of the army at any time," Bai Yun said. Zhou Zhou nodded. The subjects under him were all professionals with the help of a large number of free class change certificates. Even though they could not compare to Empire-tier soldier-type professions like the Forbidden Mage or the Yellow Talisman Dao Soldier, they were still living beings that had the power of extraordinary tier. They were definitely not weak in battle. Zhou Zhou did not say anything about not letting the subjects participate in the battle. The Kingdom Founding War concerned the rise and fall of the entire Blazing Sun Empire. If the Blazing Sun Empire failed to advance, or even perished, the subjects under him would definitely not end well. They were fighting for the empire, but also for themselves. Of course, if the soldiers under him and the means they had prepared could be the first to defeat the enemy and win this kingdom-founding war, there would naturally be no need for the subjects under him to take the risk to participate in the battle. The soldiers and god spirits under him would forever stand at the front line of the war. His subjects under them participating in the battle had to wait until they were powerless to deal with the enemy. Another half an hour passed, and a 9-colored stream of light flew over from the sky and landed in front of Zhou Zhou. It was Zhou Zhou's latest clone, Sunday. It's done. The contract has been signed. Sunday smiled. Very good. Zhou Zhou smiled. There was a relaxed expression on his face. He finally had true confidence in this kingdom-founding war. Then, he didn't explain anything and immediately transmitted the golden tablet of the empire in the world of gods. The world of gods was the advanced building of the shrine. He was the size of a middle world and was the source of his divine kingdom world. Not only was it much larger than before, but it also had all kinds of god spirit buildings and blessed lands. It was worthy of being called the world of gods. Zhou Zhou didn't have time to check the surrounding buildings. He placed his right hand on the empire's golden tablet. I want to advance to the divine kingdom. Start the kingdom-founding war now, he said in a deep voice. In the next second, the entire golden tablet emitted an infinite golden light as if it had heard his words. This boundless golden light quickly spread in all directions and enveloped the entire Blazing Sun Empire's territory in the blink of an eye. At this moment, countless subjects witnessed this scene. However, not only were they not afraid, their eyes were filled with determination and belligerence. It wasn't easy for us to find this paradise to survive. You enemies who came out of nowhere actually want to destroy our current lives. Then we'll fight you to the death. The country I love, my family, my friends, my career, my blood, my everything. They're all here. No one can take them away from me. Even if we have to sacrifice our lives, we have to protect everything. Our Di Huang is invincible. No matter how strong you are, you can't win against our Di Huang. There was an unshakable determination in everyone's eyes. This was their country and their home. They had no way out and would never retreat. A majestic line of golden nomological divine patterns appeared in the sky. Supreme Will Notification, Lord of the Blazing Sun, Zhou Zhou, check if you have completed most of the advancement requirements to become a beginner-level Divine Kingdom Lord. Do you want to start the final kingdom-founding war to officially upgrade your Blazing Sun Empire, Advanced, to the Blazing Sun Divine Kingdom, Beginner? Yes. Zhou Zhou took a deep breath and said solemnly. In the next second, wisps of white fog appeared out of thin air in the sky above the Blazing Sun Empire's territory. This white fog increased in number and covered the entire sky of the Blazing Sun Empire in the blink of an eye, completely enveloping the Blazing Sun Empire. What is this mist? Zhou Zhou's solemn gaze swept across the strange fog. He was actually unable to see through what was in the fog with his eyesight. At this moment, new changes suddenly appeared in the white fog. It was this change that made Zhou Zhou and all the living beings of the Blazing Sun Empire's pupils constrict. The fog in the sky quickly condensed and finally formed a phantom that stretched for countless light years in the sky in a short period of time. These phantoms covered the sky above the entire Blazing Sun Empire's territory. The content of the phantoms was actually an illusory reflection of the Blazing Sun Empire's territory. At this moment, there were actually two Blazing Sun Empires in the world. One was real, and the other was illusory. It looked very magical. Yet this was not what shocked everyone the most. What shocked everyone the most was that they actually saw their existence in this illusionary Blazing Sun Empire. Be it by Yun, Wu Xin, Ing Ning, Yuan Tsong, or the other high-ranking generals of the Blazing Sun Empire, the soldiers of all the main combat troops under the Blazing Sun Empire, or every subject of the Blazing Sun Empire. They could all be found in the illusionary Blazing Sun Empire. Even the Blazing Sun Empire's army, led by Zhou Fight and Zhou Wu, who were far away on the cerulean planet and had yet to return to the high continent. was actually in the illusory reflection in the sky of the Blazing Sun Empire. It seemed to have replicated everything that the Blazing Sun Empire had, without any mistakes. Everyone more or less panicked when they saw this scene. Only Zhou Zhou and his clones revealed a smile after their shock. Indeed, you can only replicate the current me, but you can't replicate the me at my peak. Zhou Zhou smiled and muttered to himself. At this moment, Zhou Zhou and the others in the illusory Blazing Sun Empire looked at Zhou Zhou and the others in the real Blazing Sun Empire with a sinister smile. Then, they actually led all the armies, battleships, and war machines to fly out of the projection of the Blazing Sun Empire, completing the critical step of moving from illusion to reality. They really appeared in front of Zhou Zhou and the others. I am the illusory god of chaos, Yin Yan. I'll take your lives today. With a thought, he transformed into Zhou Zhou, followed by 7 illusory clones of Zhou Zhou. They looked at Zhou Zhou and thought, "Common people's regal. I already have everything you have, and besides what you have, I also have my divine demon talent, so it's impossible for you to defeat me. Surrender obediently and let me replace you. Don't worry, your divine kingdom will still be established after I replace you. However, its owner will become me and the illusionary divine generals under me. The name of the Blazing Sun Divine Kingdom will not be lost. It will flourish in my hands. I will also help you obtain the position of the Lord of all races. I'll sit tight on that supreme throne for you." Ha ha ha. Yin Yan could not help but raise her head and laugh wildly while speaking with excitement. "It's exactly as your friend Illusion said. You really look like your boss. You're so arrogant that this emperor wants to beat you up." Zhou Zhou smiled faintly. "You're still quite calm even at the brink of death. However, no matter how calm you are, it's useless. Your defeat is predestined." Yin Yan sneered. He didn't say anything else. With a wave of his right hand, he created a boundless universe-level battlefield. A look of surprise flashed across Zhou Zhou's eyes. "From today onwards, this will be this emperor's territory. This emperor won't mess up this emperor's territory." Yin Yan saw Zhou Zhou's expression and smiled faintly. "You've thought it through." Zhou Zhou smiled. Yin Yan sneered and held the regal sage Dao sword. She pointed it at Zhou Zhou and ordered coldly, "All troops, charge. Take back the divine kingdom that belongs to us." Yes. A total of 25 capital units, 9 for 23, 750, 727, 9324 soldiers, 57,623,871 god spirits, 12,315 true god tiers, and 53 master gods roared in unison. Then, they rushed towards each other. Both sides tacitly agreed not to hire the clergy of the life arc. Everyone had it after all. They wouldn't have any advantage if they used it. They would also waste the mist core and divine crystals they spent on hiring. Soon, the two sides fought. The army of the Blazing Sun Empire was completely suppressed by the cloned army of Yin Yan at the beginning of the war, since a portion of Zhou Zhou's troops were still left on the Cerulean planet, disguised as the army of the Mortal Empire. This was the first time Zhou Zhou had encountered such a situation of being suppressed. Even though he was already mentally prepared, he still felt somewhat helpless when he saw this scene. It was indeed the hardest to defeat oneself. However, he didn't have any solutions but to watch this scene as he waited for his backup plan to descend. At this moment, he suddenly saw Yin Yan in the distance and suddenly raised his hand. Then, he saw an invisible ripple spread out to the entire battlefield with his palm as the center. It quickly covered the entire battlefield. At the same time, Zhou Zhou's body also emitted a faint golden light. When this golden light faced this invisible ripple, it seemed to have triggered some kind of stress reaction. It spread out almost at the same time and almost instantly covered the entire battlefield, firmly protecting the army of the Blazing Sun Empire from the invisible ripples. "You and I are the same. Why use the 10,000 Spirit Saint?" Zhou Zhou said with a strange expression. "Can I use it for fun?" Yin Yan asked indifferently. Could he say that he was curious? This was a method of the Lord's law. He had not used it many times since he was born, even though he was the illusory god of chaos. Zhou Zhou pursed his lips and did not say anything. Then he and his clone, Yin and his clone tacitly agreed not to participate in the battle below. It was the same reason no matter which side participated in the battle, the other party would definitely participate. At that time, when their combat strength was equal, it would be meaningless to participate in the battle. Since that was the case, it was better to watch coldly and wait for the outcome of the battle below. A sinister smile appeared on Yin's lips as he watched. This was because he could clearly see that his clone army was gradually expanding his advantage on the battlefield with the advantage of military strength. As long as this continued, it wouldn't be long before his army had a 100% chance of obtaining victory on the battlefield. When the time comes, everything about this famous common people's regal would belong to him. This was the meaning of the kingdom founding war. It was personally set by the supreme will, and no one could go against it. Yin felt his divine body tremble thinking of the shocking wealth and strength of this common people's regal.
Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed today's episode. If you did, please like, share, and subscribe.